that's the rally that we went ahead and kind of carried over to October. So you can see right here on the screen how everything kind of panned out. Abbott Labs, right? ABT, right? Abbott Laboratories, this is the one that actually made United Airlines is an interesting one in itself because I think hey, good morning. What's going on, folks? We got another episode of the Improved BYTTT, and we got a lot of work to do, so let's get right to it. So the first thing I want to kind of talk about is what's going on with NQ. That opening range yesterday was quite interesting. We still kind of toying around with the gap. Actually, let me get rid of all the drawings and start this all the way over. We're kind of still toying with the gap in itself. Actually, did I delete something? No, I didn't delete something. I didn't want. Okay. All right. And what's interesting about this is that bears are fighting here, bulls are fighting here. They don't want to see this go lower because they created this gap. And the bears are like, wait, but we took control. Why are you even here? So there's a nice little conversation going back and forth with the market. Unfortunately, it had such a negative effect on my side because I was like, oh, there's no way New York Sessions is going to let this come all the way here. Just to let you know, spoiler alert, at the end of the day, that affected my portfolio in more ways than one. So just a little FYI, you cannot control what the market does at all. And objectivity is very important. So I got a nice little dose of that medicine. I made my corrections, and I know what I need to do. So that forward, we're going to go ahead and make ourselves some money. All right, so looking at NQ and what's going on, we're under the 25,000 mark. I think that's the psychological level that they're looking at. And if you've ever been in one of my classes, I talk about what happens in the ones place, tens place, hundreds place, and the thousands place. I know I sound like a math teacher right now, but I'm telling you this right now, psychological levels matter, okay? But if we go into this, you can kind of see we are trying to get to this lower level. I got a lot of my indicators. Some of them are proprietary. If you want to get access to my proprietary information, just by all means, send me a DM. Go to durandisgroup.com and you find all my contact information. That way you can go ahead and get key alerts. All right, so that is NQ. Let's go ahead and check out the other stuff. We got oil. Oil is doing some craziness. I did tell y'all that gap up was dangerous. We're going to go ahead and go into this. If you watched the episode yesterday, and you can kind of see a nice little breakdown here. We now made some lower lows, so we can adjust the trend line. Oh no, they spike right through here, so we're going to get rid of that one. And now our angle is built on here, like that. All right, so that's the downtrend that we're looking for. Seeing if we're going to go ahead and test right here. If it gets into that order block, we're probably going to go ahead and test deep into this order block. Watch for the center pivot somewhere around 56.36 for a reversal to test back these areas. It's very, very close where I'm going to have to reset a lot of these lines, and we're going to have some fun on Wednesday as I do that. All right, over here is gold. Gold is still trucking. We get into 4,200, which is another interesting territory. 200 is a psychological level for obvious reasons. And when we kind of pull back under the 4,000, it looks like they can't wait to make a more expensive gold. But I will warn you, at the end of the day, the price action is very interesting. We have not seen our 200 moving day average in a long time, and it is homesick. So we're going to go ahead and keep that in mind. Silver is still trucking. And again, it got to the $50 level. I think they were really trying to get silver to the $50 level. They snatched it back. So we got a nice little doji right here. Unlike gold, that's right here. So I think there's a lot of speculators in here. I think the honesty in the commodities is always silver, hence the reason why it's still charted, and that is that information there. So we got the British pound over there. They are showing what looks like a bigger head and shoulders. Like, so we did this head and shoulders the other day, a couple months ago, and you can kind of see that was a nice little impactful move in the last season. Now, looking at this one, it looks like this is now our right shoulder. This is kind of still the head, but it almost looks like we're doing something like this. Very strange, very odd, I know, but if you think about it, this is kind of like equal in itself. Or we could go ahead and get this completely out the way, and then we go ahead and grab a new one. Where are you? I don't have one for doubles. That would have been cool if I had double tops. But anyways, let's go old school. We got this. So we got a nice push to the upside. Bang, bang, bang. And then this center pivot, which is the 50% that got us up here from that previous head and shoulder. And that breaks, then that means we got ourselves a straight M pattern. That's what I was trying to draw on the screen, so bear with me. Anyways, moving on. We got ourselves Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like this, and I think Bitcoin needs to get back into this lower register. I warned y'all. Listen, I'm not saying I'm Nostradamus. I'm not saying at the end of the day I know it all. I'm just saying at the end of the day the market has to leave these fingerprints. If you want proper training on how to see these fingerprints, go ahead and send me a message. I will show you how to sign up with me. That way I can break all these things down. This was a large move overnight. I was playing on NQ, but I only got a piece of it. But again, the game is about knowing when to enter and knowing when to exit. I can teach that. I got you. Anyways, Russell has not come back and filled here. I don't think we're going to fill all of it, me personally, because the Russell is going to be where everybody parks their money after they go ahead and pull their money from everywhere else. So just keep that in mind. And then the last is the infamous, undeniable, the force of nature called the US dollar. I warned y'all yesterday. I said the dollar is doing something funky. Let me go ahead and get rid of this because I don't know if y'all like Bollinger Bands or kept the channels. This thing can probably be a little tricky for y'all, so let me get that out your way. We are filling an imbalance. So I think they thought, oh, well, we filled the imbalance, so we should be pushing up. No, we will not. Okay, because again, we did not really take out the lows that we are supposed to. Like, we kind of spiked it and we got a nice little bounce. I think this uptrend has been destroyed and this micro downtrend is continuing, and then that created the trap. I'm telling you, my classes are amazing. I point this stuff out. And when we created the trap, they were like, oh, well, we just made a lower low. Let's start selling some more, aka buy more stock, which was roughly around September 17th. That's the rally that we finished towards the end of the month. That's the rally that we went ahead and kind of carried over to October. So you can see right here on the screen how everything kind of panned out. They were looking for continuation. Now, here's the funny thing about it. The reason why the US dollar kind of got that pivot on October 1st, we were rising up, going higher on the dollar while the market was going up. If you ever see the dollar and the market going up at the same time or going down at the same time, someone's lying. And right now, it's looking like the market is lying because we're still continuing to the downside. All right. Whew, that was a lot of information. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about some of the earnings stuff that is coming up. I know y'all love the news, but we're going to just stick with earnings cycle and the foreseeable future because I just want to make sure I get all this information out to you. So we got J&J, Goldman Sachs, and Wells Fargo. That's what we got going on when it was all said and done. And if you remember, I kind of went over each and every one of them. This was GS. I still think GS is going to be going to the downside. There's a lot of cash that they were making in that point. Let's see what they got for us. All right, so we got a nice little gap up. I think anything under 800 is going to make them test somewhere around here into the 748. We'll see what happens. Wells Fargo was another one we covered yesterday. Wells Fargo, it looks the same, right? But just a little tiny inside day when it's all said and done. I think we covered Citibank. And what was the third one? Oh, J&J. That's the other one. Oops, Let me fix that. I just changed something on my other chart. J&J, right? Johnson and Johnson. This one's going to be in that healthcare, and I'm anticipating as we get into this part of the cycle. The party already started because open enrollment usually start around that November area, and I'm a big fan of that. This is when I start to get into my healthcare stuff. I have UNH, me personally, but J&J is another good company, especially after they got all their lawsuits behind them. So what do we have for tomorrow? All right, well, tomorrow we got some other ones. We got Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, but I want to go into Abbott Labs, all right, ABT, all right. Abbott Laboratories, this is the one that actually made some of the stuff during the pandemic, especially those, I think it was the personal COVID checks. Anyways, they do other things like Pediasure and all that stuff. So they do a lot of different things over at Abbott Labs. This one's not too much of an options trade per se. This is like a good investment because they do return money to shareholders, 59 cents per share on dividends, and they got dividends and earnings kind of landing right next to each other. I love seeing positivity here with an $11 billion company. That is a good sign. Actually, I got to go ahead and tap in on my trade. Oh, you got to be kidding me. May the Lord know, but then the thing kind of pushed back. All right, well, we'll keep that moving. All right, so we want to see how this actually holds, because if this thing can break these levels and if people are really taking money out of the market, something like a weekly chart can really tank this. You can see how it's pointing down. A monthly chart, we are in the upper register. We could curl the center pivot. That is very possible. And maybe they start pouring into healthcare by taking money out of tech, because tech has been going crazy. So now I would say just keep that in mind when you're dealing with the market, because something like a healthcare stock like Abbott Labs could be a place that you want to park your money. All right, let me give you another one. That's in the morning on Wednesday tomorrow. And then at night, we got United Airlines. Now, United Airlines, keep messing with stuff. United Airlines is an interesting one in itself because I think they're a little tired, right? They've been flying for a while. It's good, strong move, especially all these upper registers. If you don't know what this is actually where are you? This is the head and shoulder tool that you actually use where you can kind of like mark where it is, and you can kind of see we got a whole entire move right here. This is our extension, and if that extension is supposed to be there, then that means it should have happened here. That's why I got all these levels kind of marked off over here. I think it's tired. I think the head and shoulders is over. They really curled this over. Now, here's the fun thing about it. If we really think about it, the head and shoulders that panned out right there, it could be over right now. Because if we get a nice little curl over, then we build a base, this was supposed to be a bear flag and then drop. Is this manipulation? Did they sweep it one more time to the upside? Maybe. Are they waiting for earnings to finally drop it? Maybe. Are they going to use earnings and maybe this whole entire thing was profit taken and they're like, hey, we really did well, and it shoots up? Maybe. Because we're kind of in the between, and I got this indicator right here, which is Smart Money Concepts. This one right here, it basically is in the middle of both. And if you don't know about trading, we don't diddle in the middle. All right? So that said, that is pretty much everything that I have. I want to say thank you to all my 500 subscribers. Sorry, I got to 500. I'm excited. Y'all can talk smack about me or whatever the case may be. I am having fun. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button. Go ahead and share it to your friends and family. Let them know that I actually show y'all stuff on the market and how to trade properly. That way this thing can grow. If I get to 1,000, I don't know, maybe I'll do something crazy other than give a free giveaway for the 500. Maybe I'll do you're going to have to stay tuned. We're going to figure it out. Anyway, so I've been your farewell, and have a great day. See ya. Yeah, everybody.